What can a voter do about the issue of school facilities? Who do you think is responsible for Lafayette's public schools? Do the present facilities affect the teachers' ability to teach?
One of the first things they said was that there was a lack of space. Our schools are small, they're portable buildings. Another one was there was poor climate control of the heating and air conditioning units, which means that sometimes they're either too hot, too cold. The teachers are not able to control the thermostats. And we also had presence of mildew and mold. There was poor drainage. Some of our parking lots, when it rains, they get it's flooded out. We have floating teachers because of the lack of space. Our lab facilities are not there. And rain leakage in some of our buildings.
You're talking elementary, middle, high school?
All of our teachers, yes. I had a range of teachers that were giving me these answers, yes.
Okay, at least 4 to 5 times a day, if it's raining, we have to leave to go to lunch and to library and computer time and cafeterias and specials, things like that. And if it's raining, we have absolutely no awning, no covering. We open the door and the rain gushes in. The children are getting wet and having to live throughout the day in their wet clothes. So it causes a problem and distractions in the classroom.
Our French teacher comes in the afternoon, and being that it's in the cafeteria ladies are cleaning up. There's a lot of noise in there, but yet those children still have to concentrate. And it causes discipline issues sometimes by having so many children, at least 17 to 20, cramped on one stage. Another factor is when the weather is just not right outside, we don't have anywhere for our PE people to go. Therefore, they have to be in the hallways and do PE class. This could be in cold weather, rainy weather. The hallways that they use is between 2 classes. So, of course, there's no way you can keep a PE class quiet with the activities. So it's a disturbance to the other classes. That's okay.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. So make sure that you tell Mom and Dad about this. The note is going to be inside your book.
At this time, we have definitely over 20 portable classrooms outside, more than we have inside. And all of these boys and girls, with an average of at least 20 to 21 kids per classroom, share one female restroom and one male restroom. Has to service all of these students.
LEAP testing during testing week in March. We use it as a timeout room whenever a student is acting out. We also have to use it, of course, as a handicapped restroom and changing area for handicapped students. We use it for storage. This is preschool storage here. It's a multi-purpose room.
Like it had like a dirt volcano coming out, and it smelled really bad. And I was just coming back from PE, and because it started raining, and then that's when it happened.
Probably one of the bigger problems that I have is battling for board space, because the teacher that I'm sharing a room with, a lot of times he likes to have things written on the board because, you know, he has his day all planned out. When the kids come in, he has things that he wants them to write down or whatever it might be. Map might be drawn up on there or something. And I'm trying to teach math right behind that. So I can't necessarily erase what he has, and I know he doesn't want me to erase what he has. So it's difficult. I kind of work in a real small area sometimes because we're in a portable building and we only have one dry erase board. And that's probably one of the biggest things. And you know, teaching math, there's a lot of writing and stuff that goes on. So that makes it difficult, you know, sharing his space and my space. Some of the other things that I encounter also is the fact that you just have to be well prepared and well planned, because you know, if the things are not in place when you get in the classroom and you left it in another class, you really can't send someone out there to get it. So you have to make sure when you go into a particular class that you remember to take all of the items that you need from the other class to get there. And sometimes, you know, things just don't work out. You start some activity and you want to switch to another, and the materials are just not there. And no one's perfect. Nobody can be totally prepared as much as we'd like to be. So that's two of the bigger problems that we have. Another thing I encounter too is just the fact of privacy. Sometimes I want to have a conference with a parent and a child, and I have no place to have it because, you know, if it's during my off hour, that room is being used by the teacher I'm sharing it with. So if I can't go and find a room, sometimes it might take me 20 minutes before I can find a space available to me to use for a conference. Most of the time I'll use the office, but there might be hearings or something going on in there. So I got to take the parent, we got to walk around the campus, and then I'll just say, well, can I borrow this room or can I borrow that room? So, you know, you like to predict, but the conditions are poor. We have no covered walkways. We have real small sidewalks that you can only go one-way traffic with. We have a lot of flooding. It rains, it gets flooded, the kids get wet, we get wet. The ramps get slippery. The ramps leading up to these portable buildings get slippery. The lighting condition is very, very bad. Most of the time when time changes and we get to school early in the morning, it's dark, it's black. So you really can't see. Some of the lights work, most of them don't. So the conditions are not very good. Now, you know, we do make the best with what we have, but that's a big problem. A lot of times kids are getting to us and they're wet. We really need to try to improve those conditions, especially when the safety of the kids are concerned.
We're very fortunate here at Prairie Elementary to have a school that is very diverse. We have a lot of activities that include parents at times. Unfortunately, one of the greatest issues we have is parking at our school. We do have property that is available next door. First of all, we have teachers who cannot find parking spots in the mornings. We have parents who certainly cannot when we're providing some extracurricular activities for the students and all of the wonderful things that bring a school together. So that is an issue that I wish we could address very soon at Prairie here, because it really does create problems quite often.
This high school is typical of most high schools and most middle schools that do not have covered walkways going out to the portable buildings. Okay, here at Acadiana High, it's typical of all the gymnasiums at the high schools in the parish. They're non-air conditioned gymnasiums. We would like to get rid of the steam boiler here at Moss Annex because it runs the steam radiators, which are not very dependable, and we're currently working on a project to bring in enough electrical power to connect the heat strips in all of the window unit air conditioners to provide enough heating in the building, and again to eliminate the steam boilers in the building.
I'm just like the rest of the citizens, I believe, in Lafayette. We have some information. I've been lucky to maybe talk to various school board members, gave me a little bit of insight, and I'm going to recommend that. That first of all, you talk to your particular school board member. I've asked a few people in the last few months about that, and most will say parents. Some will say citizens. I personally believe that everyone in Lafayette Parish is responsible. They owe a responsibility to have the very best schools in this state. And we need to know some of those facts. I believe that the facts, I'm not going to be able to give all of them. I don't have them all before me, but I do know that 25% of the schools and the classrooms, 25% are in portable buildings. That's really a terrible situation to have. And I believe that if we understood how seriously the portable building, 25% of your total school is in that situation. Lafayette High, as an example, was built in 1952. It's the second largest school in Louisiana, and that we should be proud of that. At over 2,250 students, approximately that amount. And of course, just in their school, there are 31 buildings, 31 portable buildings. We also, in other words, this is something we're aware of, and we need to know that as citizens, we're the third per capita income. We fall third position on per capita income. That's pretty very significant in this whole state. Knowing that, though, we're also finding out that there are 26 parishes with higher millage than we do for our schools. And so there are also 13 parishes, as an example, that are higher sales tax than Lafayette does. And of course, this may be also just, you can start looking at those numbers, and maybe we're not doing as good a job as we should. 15 parishes spend more money on each student. That is unbelievable. You know, that we feel that we're doing some good, and we're giving raises to the teachers, and we have done some things, but I don't think we've done enough. And I just feel that we need to address the problems of the physical conditions of our school. We need to look at the whole system and work with the officials that we have elected, and we need to work in every area of our school needs, and I think it's important.
I think it's probably one of the biggest factors. If your educational system means something to you in your community, it says that you value education. I think your campuses should look like you value your education, and I think that is so important in a new and growing economy like we have in Lafayette. I think it's one of the places where we're failing, and that's higher education as well. It's not just in our early elementary education, but all the way up to the college level. We have a history of building and not maintaining.
Well, our citizenship, if you recall, the country is built upon citizens being actively involved in the democratic process. Our facilities are public facilities, therefore they belong to the citizens. What my advice to them would be, call your school board member. Talk to the children that you know go to school, or your own kids, and find out how the facilities are. What kind of distractions are happening? For example, right now when it's raining and classes are disrupted because they must move and put trash cans to catch the bucket of water that is coming in. They can definitely be involved in ensuring that our kids are going to school in quality facilities. Not high class, but quality. My advice would be for them to remember that one person can indeed make a difference. Oftentimes, people want to speak up, but they believe they are the only ones with that particular opinion. And too often there are other people who are believing the same, and they just have not done anything. I would encourage them definitely to find out the conditions of our buildings. They can do that by reading the League of Women Voters report, or simply contacting folks here at the Lafayette Parish School Board office and asking questions about the facilities which are doing whatever, and they can selectively go out and look at it. They can purposely decide that these schools belong to us, and we will ensure that they are in decent conditions.
Become educated about the situation themselves. Go take a tour of the school. Go see what we're talking about, not just the fact that we need to raise money to fix our schools. I think they each need to contact their school board member and get a commitment from that school board member that says, here's what we're trying to do, here's a comprehensive plan that the parents can understand and see, and that here is the tax money that we need, or whatever money, the funds that we need, and that they need to commit that money. They need to have a solid plan, and they need to say this money will be dedicated specifically to repairs, to maintenance, to upkeep, to rebuilding, and specifically on the school's building. And then they do what they say they're going to do, the accountability. Very important. Nothing's going to happen unless we pull together and vote. I would say not to have a closed mind without seeing the problem, seeing a plan. Not to say, well, we're not going to vote for any tax or any funding, but to see what the problem is, be informed before they do that. Because it's also community development and economic development depends on our public schools. When businesses are coming, they're not looking at private schools. They want to know how the public school system is. When families move in, they ask the same thing. We need to show them that take pride in our schools. We need to take care of our students in our schools so that they too will feel good about coming into this area.
Who is involved in the Community Coalition for Lafayette Schools?
Well, the parish has put together a list. We've tried to compile as many community groups as we have throughout the parish because we felt that the larger number of community groups and member organizations from the parish that we involve, the better support we will have for our schools, because the school system is for the entire parish.
How might priorities be set for what gets done immediately?
Well, right now they're doing some things with funding that we currently have in the system for our capital improvement, which include roofs, air conditioners. There are things that we have to have operational just to keep the classrooms occupiable. We absolutely do need to build some more facilities. We need to build some more schools. And I think that needs to be a plan or part of the plan that runs in parallel with the recurring maintenance. The repair of the major issues, roofs, air conditioners, things like this. Health and safety issues need to be taken care of very first to make all of the utmost use of our current facilities. Then we need to start working on our expansion.
Distribution center for the whole entire school. To my knowledge, this is the original, which is probably over 30 years old. We need to be updated and also bring in extra power capacity.
We'll cut out any children. Don't worry.
Okay.
I do not have proper, let's see, a lot of my chemicals are outdated.
Okay, we're going to the parking lot.
Right. Okay. In fact, I think this, they still got to come back and work on this. And the other one here next door was still like that because we came one Monday to see this process, how much water we had on the floor. And that leaked the whole building.
I was just asking about that.